Hi guys, OnePlus has launched its new budget series, the Nord series, and has launched its first phone, OnePlus Nord in it. But will it be able to compete with Realme X3? So let's find out with TechieJus. Build quality. Realme X3 has a glass back and plastic frame, and the brand has given it a bulky form factor as it's more thicker and is more heavier than OnePlus Nord. OnePlus Nord also has a glass back and a plastic frame with a lighter and thinner body design by the brand, which makes it look more premium. Display. Realme X3 has a 6.6-inch dual punch hole display with 120Hz refresh rate and IPS LCD display, which I would consider is good for gamers because they require a greater screen sizes. Whereas OnePlus Nord has a 6.4-inch dual punch hole display with 90Hz refresh rate and is an AMOLED display, which I would consider is good for multimedia consumers due to its punchier colors. Both Realme X3 and OnePlus Nord have a Gorilla Glass version 5 protection. Performance. So about performance, Realme X3 is clearly a winner due to its powerful chipset Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 Plus with an Antutu score of 5,17,000. It is highly recommended for gamers and creators who require more powerful chipset for their work. Whereas OnePlus Nord has Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G 5G chipset with an Antutu score of more than 2,74,000, which I would recommend more for moderate intensive gamers and day-to-day task performers. Camera. So about camera, I would say they are quite alike because Realme X3 has a 64 megapixel primary camera with a telephoto lens of 12 megapixel and an ultra wide camera of 8 megapixel along with a macro camera of 2 megapixel. The main highlight of the camera here is the telephoto lens. The front camera is of 16 megapixel with an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera. Now for OnePlus Nord, it has a primary sensor of 48 megapixel Sony sensor and a depth camera of 5 megapixel with an ultra wide camera of 8 megapixel and a macro camera of 2 megapixel. The main highlight of the camera here is the optical image stabilization. It has a front camera of 32 megapixel and an 8 megapixel ultra wide selfie. Other features. Now about other features, OnePlus Nord supports 5G connectivity whereas Realme X3 doesn't. Realme X3 has a greater battery of 4200 mAh whereas OnePlus Nord has a slightly lesser battery of 4115 mAh. Both Realme X3 and OnePlus Nord have 30 watt fast VOOC charging and both have dual nano SIM slot. 3.5mm jack is absent in both of them. Notification light is also absent in both of them. Alert slider is present only in OnePlus Nord and not in Realme X3. For security, Realme X3 has a side-mounted fingerprint sensor whereas OnePlus Nord has an in-display fingerprint sensor. And Realme X3 runs on Realme UI whereas OnePlus Nord runs on Oxygen OS. Price and variants. So let's talk about the most important aspect for every smartphone in today's world, its price. So Realme X3 has two variants of 25,000 and 26,000 Indian rupees. The 25,000 variant has a 6GB RAM and 128GB storage, whereas the 26,000 model has a 8GB RAM and 128GB storage. Whereas for OnePlus Nord, there are three variants of 25,000, 28,000 and 30,000 Indian rupees. The 25,000 model, which has 4GB RAM and 64GB storage, is an India exclusive. Now the 28,000 variant has 6GB RAM and 128GB storage, whereas the 30,000 model has 8GB RAM and 256GB storage. So both of them are really great value for money smartphones. So if you don't mind bulky design language and can work out with Realme UI and your first preference is gaming, I would wholeheartedly recommend you Realme X3. Otherwise, if you require a more premium looking device with better UI and 5G connectivity, I would recommend you OnePlus Nord. I hope you enjoyed the video. If the video was helpful, please like it and subscribe the channel for more techie content. Bye.